Dr. Cinema. I wasn't planning on making this kind of a video today, but there has been some news, and I think it's time that we talk about what's been going on surprisingly quite a bit this year. And that is release date changes. Now, changing the release of a movie is nothing new. Now, having said that, it's not that common either. I mean, yes, every once in a while you'll get a movie that either delays its release or moves it up a little bit. And there are some movies that are just hard to get off the ground for various reasons. I mean, for the better part of the last decade, this Scarface remake that's been talked about has been going through some changes, including having the Coen brothers attached at one point, then having David Ayer attached. And I think it was planned to be released later this year, but last I heard, that's not going to happen. And of course, the joke of the town is the Gambit film. This film has been going through developmental hell forever. It's gone through multiple directors. I don't even think it has a director at this point. So obviously, there are movies that just are hard to get released for various reasons. And sometimes they get moved up for reasons as well. However, this year, 2018, has seen a lot of release date changes, but I want to focus on a specific number of them. So, I'm not going to go in any particular order generally, but I do want to start with the movies that have actually been moved up. And, Deadpool 2. Now, this was originally planned for a June release date, but got moved up to May. And at the time of that release date change, it was going to compete against Marvel's Infinity War and Star Wars' Han Solo film. And obviously, Fox has so much confidence in this film that they plan on going up against the two biggest films Disney could release this year. And that's actually saying something a lot about Deadpool 2, which I am very happy about. I know that release change actually made a lot of people happy. Now, another movie that actually got moved up is actually Infinity War. Yeah, this happened after the Deadpool 2 change, and I guess they changed it because they want to, well, there's a couple different reasons. One, they wanted to prevent spoilers from getting out, so that's why they moved it up by a week for worldwide release. But I think also this is sort of in response to Deadpool 2, just wanting to make sure they have as long of a top box office reign as long as they can. And actually enough, the movie Rampage also got moved up by a week as well. Yeah, after Infinity War got moved up from May 4th to April 27th, they decided to move Rampage up a week. Probably because Infinity War is now going to be released in April as well. And, reactionary response. Another film that got moved up is this horror film called Truth or Dare. I think it's a Blumhouse production. It got moved up by about 2 weeks, but still being released in April. I'm not quite sure why they did that, but I guess they feel confident in it. And the last film to get moved up is, surprisingly enough, the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, a biopic of the group Queen. Now, originally, Bryan Singer was attached to direct, and he has been doing some work on it. But, as you may know, Bryan Singer was fired from directing Bohemian Rhapsody due to some issues that I don't want to get into right now. Now, despite these issues, they actually moved it up from a Christmas Day release to November, which is really kind of surprising. You would think that after a big firing like that during production, they would want to delay a little bit to make sure they have everything done. But I guess they feel like it's confident enough, or for some reason they just want to move it up. I mean, the reason why the Justice League movie wasn't delayed was because they wanted to get their bonuses, the executives over at Warner Brothers. Now, I'm not quite sure how that works for Fox, but I guess that could be a potential reason. But I'm just going to think of the better of them and think they have confidence in this new director. Now, those are all the movies that got moved up, and those are some pretty, and a couple of those are some pretty big movies: Deadpool 2 and Infinity War. Obviously, the studios and people behind them are very confident in them. However, not to say that the ones that got delayed don't have people backing them up, but there have been far more delays this year than ups. Now let's start with the one that got pushed back, well, got changed the most. The Predator, the fourth installment of the Predator series. Now, directed by Shane Black, yeah. It was originally released for a March 2018 release date, then got moved up to February, then got pushed back to August, then got pushed back again to September 2018. Now, the Predator films have sort of got this action slash sci-fi slash horror atmosphere to it. So basically, it's kind of a hard movie to get a good grasp on in terms of tone and audience. So I guess the reason they ultimately decided to push it back is because at first it was pushed back to an August release date. So they obviously had confidence, but I guess thinking it over a little bit, they'll probably have a far more financial success if it was released in September. That's my thinking behind it. Another movie that got delayed is the Slender Man horror film. Now, it was originally released for, believe it or not, May, along with Infinity War and Han Solo. Now, after Deadpool 2 got moved up to May, they decided to push Slenderman from May to August, which makes the most financial logic, if you ask me. Financial sense, that's what I was looking for. Another film that got delayed is Robin Hood a couple of times, from March to September to November. Now, the guy they have in the starring role is the same guy who was the main actor in the Kingsman films. I'm not quite sure why it got pushed back a couple of times. Probably just to make sure it has the best chance of bringing in the most money, is my opinion. Now, there are two more films I want to talk about. New Mutants, one of the Fox X-Men films, was originally set for an April 2018 release. Actually set for Friday the 13th. And they even released a trailer for it. And it looked very interesting. People were kind of excited for it. Now, after some test screenings, from what I've heard, they were generally positive, but not quite as scary as they wanted. So they ultimately decided to push it back to February 2019. That's a big delay, but I guess the reason was to make it more scarier, which I guess works. But just today, at the time of recording this, it got pushed back to August 2019. Now, I'll get to that in a moment, but I also want to bring up the one last film that got pushed back. X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, they started a advertising campaign with pictures and such. It was set for a November 2018 release date, but now it's been pushed back to February 2019 release date. Now, this came out today at the same time as the new August New Mutants release date. So the main question is, why did they get pushed back? Why? And for New Mutants, why again? Now, there's some logic that they just wanted to make sure that these films are the best that they can be as they possibly can be. Like working on special effects, making sure the acting and the directing are all right. And while that could be applied for Dark Phoenix, New Mutants has been pushed back twice, which, if that was the case, probably wouldn't mean anything real good. So the theory behind at least these two release dates is because it looks like the Disney and Fox deal's really gonna be a finalized thing, and they're gonna delay these movies so that they can probably find a way to better integrate the X Men characters into the MCU along with Spider Man and Black Panther. So when it comes to those specific movies, that's probably the reason behind them. As for all the other movies, it's kind of odd this is all happening at once. 2018 has seen a lot of release date changes. Like, a lot. There are other movies that got release date changes that I didn't even bring up in this video. So, I guess I'm surprised no one is talking about this. Like, they talk about individual movies when their release date changes get announced, but in terms of everything as a whole, this is really surprising. I'm surprised no one else is talking about this from a bigger picture standpoint. My 2 cents? I guess it's a combination of strategies against competing studios, trying to get the most bang for their buck, trying to get as much money as possible from their films, and in terms of Fox and Marvel, some legal issues as well. So 2018 isn't even hasn't isn't even really 4 months in, but it's already probably one of the most unique movie years we can ever expect. And my professional opinion, 2018 will be remembered for various different reasons, for specific movies, but also for certain trends like this, certain traits. And that's all I really have to say. This is Dr. Cinema. Comment down below about your thoughts on all these release date changes. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you next time.